Hi there. Thanks for joining me on my little homemade documentary or documentation, maybe is more appropriate word for it, of my journey to turning 60. I decided to document my process of transitioning from the age of 59 to the age of 60 because uh, unlike uh, most of the women that I see on social media who are celebrating turning 60 and above, um, that has not been my testimony. I was struggling a lot with reaching this milestone age. And I just thought that maybe I was not the only one. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about my journey of getting to this place, um, in hopes that someone else might be able to identify with it and it might help them as well. I will say that I recently spoke to a group of women and I talked about my struggle with um, turning 60. And a woman came up to me afterward and told me thank you. And she said that she had been struggling with it as well. And I wondered why, seemed to be the only ones either struggling with it or the only ones who were admitting to struggling with it, and maybe some of the only ones talking about it. So this is me being real, and yeah, thank you for watching. When you get to a certain age, and now that I'm about to turn 60, I realize that I more than likely I have more years behind me than in front of me. And that is a sobering reality, and
Correct.
it's something I never really spent too much time thinking about. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid of death because I believe, me and God, we cool like that. But it's just what you said. Have I don't have time to waste. I must be about my Father's business.
Mm,
I must complete the work for which He created me, designed
yes.
me, and created me. So those are the things that I'm sharing and talking about in this documentary. I don't know what you would call it, that I'm talking about. And also, with I shared in the last time I was on with the female pattern baldness, and how my hair is starting to grow back now after many years, but how, so on the other side of the coin, I'm feeling more confident in myself. On the other side, the older you get, the less you kind of care. But I will say I feel like I'm only here because of the internal work that I've done. So ladies, here's my situation. Y'all pray for me because I'm turning 60 next weekend. Yeah, I appreciate that, but I'm not happy about it. Listen, I'm grateful to be alive to see this number, but I I don't know what to think about it. It it's taking me through some changes. Let me just say, I'm working my way through it. I'm a trauma recovery coach, so I'm processing. I'm processing my emotions and my feelings about it. But one of the things that it got me thinking about was, unless I live to be 120, I have more, more days behind me than I do in front of me. And that is a sobering thought. And it just kind of snuck up on me. And it got me thinking about the legacy that I want to leave. Not just to my children and grandchildren, but to everyone, future generations, everyone connected to me. And as I was thinking about the legacy that I want to leave, I started thinking about the legacy that I inherited from both of my grandmothers. So I've been thinking about and wondering, just why has it been so difficult for me to wrap my brain, my mind around, my emotions around the fact that I'm turning 60 in a few months. And I keep coming up with different reasons. Some of them, I guess, more light, and some of them heavier. I think the main one is as I approach this new decade, I'm thinking more and more about my own mortality. I am not afraid to die. What causes me the greatest fear is dying without fulfilling my purpose in life and serving the people that God ordained for me to serve, and finishing the race excuse me, that He gave, that God gave me to run. But other than that, I think it's also on the lighter side, it's just, I'm afraid of the changes happening to my physical body. Just compounded by the changes that happen through menopause and just the hormonal changes. You can read about them and people can tell you, but until you experience it yourself, it is a trip. Just like I said, the hormonal changes, your changes in your body shape changes. You're losing estrogen and what is having an increase in cortisol. And I believe cortisol is a stress hormone, as if I needed more of that after a lifetime of my brain and body being used to being in threat response mode. The fight, flight, freeze, collapse, or fawn mode. So dealing with that, and then the old ways of losing weight, drinking plenty of water and eating healthier, smaller, more frequent meals, working out regularly. The things that used to work for me don't work anymore. So that's challenging. And then I talked to the doctor about it, and the doctor says, oh, well, yeah, that's just how it is. And I thought by going to a female doctor, I would get a little bit more empathy, but no. And so, wrapped up in that is some vanity, I'm sure. Just seeing the wrinkles and the sagging, and just where it's just a trip. It's just, I remember when I was about to turn 30. That was the last time I really went through something like this, where it was a really challenging transition for me. And right before I turned 30, I thought I saw gray hair in the front of my front of my head. And I freaked out. I mean, I lost it. Only to realize that it was a piece of blonde hair left over from when I used to get my hair dyed blonde. Not all of my hair, but like, it wasn't blonde highlights, blonde streaks, maybe you call it. I don't remember what it was called. And so then once I realized, oh, okay, that's not a gray hair yet. Then I just I was cool after that. And I think too, I compare myself to the other women in my family, other relatives on my dad's side and mom's side. And, I just happen to come from a family of good genes, where people don't look their age. I don't want to be the one that that blows that record. Finally, I want to grow old gracefully in every way, internally and externally as well. Internally as a good person and a person with integrity, a woman of faith, and I want to be healthy internally, not just physically, but soul healthy, mentally and emotionally, and externally as well. And I know that the internal affects the external so much more than we realize. Some of it is genetics, some of it is lifestyle, and some of it is bitterness and unforgiveness and trauma, unresolved trauma and stress. All these unresolved things take a toll on us and make it difficult for us to age gracefully. So, hey, on goes the journey. And I was thinking of women in menopause.
Yes.
And I didn't expect the changes that started happening with my body. It was just, I don't think maybe we don't talk about it enough. I don't know. But I thought something was wrong. So I went to the doctor because I was gaining weight and gaining it in places that I've never had it before. And I want to say, for a woman, that can be very traumatic and make you feel very insecure, especially when you all of a sudden your body type is changing or you have
Mhm.
weight in places you didn't have it before. So I went to the
Oh, God. Now that's the problem right there.
isn't it? And it's so crazy because you don't expect it. You don't expect rolls in the middle where you used to always have a waist and a flat. You
What?
just don't expect these things. And I was working out. I did all the things that I used to do when I would gain weight, work out, eat better, drink plenty of water, and nothing, all the usual things. Now all of a
Wouldn't
sudden
work.
they don't work. And no one tells you this because it's hormonal changes in your body. And so I went to the doctor and I'm like, I'm having these issues in this way where I've never had it before and I don't know what's happening and I'm working out and blah, blah. And I went to a female doctor thinking, okay, she'll understand and she can at least say, well, you need to step up your routine or whatever. And she just kind of said, oh yeah, well, yeah, it's hard. And that was all she offered.
You
Meanwhile,
know,
and meanwhile she was thin and bopping around and I thought, you just made me feel worse. You really just made me feel worse. So, yeah, that really was where it started for me. Even though I'm almost 60, complex PTSD has me still afraid of the dark, especially when I'm home alone, when my husband is traveling. I am trying to work my way through it. But on this day, July 2nd, 2023, I'm still nervous and uncomfortable. My brain is still wired and programmed to think that I am unsafe when it gets dark outside, I guess. So on goes the journey. Sometimes you just gotta start all over again. Oh, today was that day for me. I've suffered with hair loss, if you want to call it alopecia or female pattern baldness, whatever, for probably the last 20 years. And as I approach 60, I'm letting go of all the things that no longer serve me. And having big patches of hair missing, and then the rest of my hair was growing longer, it just no longer served me. So we cut it off and we're going to start all over again. I'll tell you more about it later. So I cut off the remainder of my hair earlier today, or had my stylist shave it off. And while I was sitting there, well, first let me say it took me a long time to get to this decision. I kept going back and forth with it, wondering if I would regret it. And as I was sitting in the chair and she was shaving, I thought I might feel upset or sad about losing my hair and get teary-eyed. But really, I've been losing my hair, at least in the top and a couple other spots, for so many years that it really just felt like I can breathe Mm. Hmm. Felt like relief. Like I am finally getting brave and letting go of the past and going into the future, this new phase of my life with, excuse me, I'm so stopped up, but going into this new phase of my life with a new mindset, a braver mindset. Looking forward to it. Stay tuned. Can we talk about ACEs real quick before we
Yes.
Yes.
done?
Yes.
Because what made me really think about it was, Danny, when you talked about alopecia, because I have hair loss, severe hair loss as well. And for me, it was kind of a combination of, and it was right after, like you were talking about earlier, right after my second child was born. So I was early 30s when I started losing my hair in the top. And it was a combination of thyroid, a combination of stress, being in a toxic relationship, a combination of genetics. Now that I think back on it, one of my grandmothers, and so, and just toxicity in my body, right? And the reason why I say that is because once I left the toxic relationship, my hair stopped falling out instantly.
Wow.
I couldn't get it to grow back yet, and it's really just recently started growing back after 20 something years. But when we talk about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, they are an indicator of several things, and one of which is the likelihood of developing chronic illnesses. So, and also they can be an indicator of the likelihood of developing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or what we call complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is more so of the developmental trauma. I call it PTSD that grows up with you. So when I just really learned about it a few years ago when I started training as a trauma recovery coach. And when I took it, the traditional test is 10 questions. And if you score more than 3, if you've had more than 3 of these adverse childhood experiences that they list, then you're considered vulnerable, at risk for these things. And my score was an 8 out of 10. Which
Wow.
for me, but right, and it explained so much about why, as a child growing up, I was always sick, always, you know, and even into adulthood, and the healthier I become internally, the healthier my body becomes.
Right.
And like I said, after 20 something years, my hair is actually starting to grow back after 25, 30 years, whatever. But that was,
Congratulations on that.
thank you.
That's a whole nother.
But I've just gotten to the point. So what I did was I got it all shaved because I've gotten to, and I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm growing in that, and I've gotten to a point of enough self-confidence where I told my stylist, shave off all the rest, just shave it off, because I got tired of looking at my hair growing here and then bald up here, and then I've gotten to the point now where I will, not wear a wig, but I still wear a baseball cap. But for me, that's progress.
That is progress.
It is.
and I'll run to the store. I'll be on a FaceTime with somebody, or I'll do things. And one time I was sitting outside. I went to sit outside with my husband, and I forgot my hat. This just happened a couple weeks ago, and I said, you know what? I'm at home. If the neighbors look by and see, they probably be looking like, oh, well, wonder because they figure maybe you had chemo or something. I didn't
Yeah.
go back in the house and grab my hat.
Yes.
I sat
Yes.
there, and one of the neighbors actually came over, and I saw him look. But it's a process.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
It is.
It
And,
really is.
and I say all that to say, and I'm not there yet, because you see I got Stella on right now.
I know that's
Okay.
right. Come
Come
on,
on now.
Stella, bringing it too.
Stella, come on.
It's bringing it.
I love her.
But it's a process.
It is.
Mhm.
And what is helping the process is me doing that inner work. All that to say that me doing the inner work, figuring out what are the barriers to me having more healthier self-esteem
Yeah.
and confidence, and addressing those barriers, then it's showing up on the outside.
Grateful every day, covered in favor, doused in grace. Only good vibes rolling through my way. Thankful that the Lord woke me up today. Got a loving family and solid friends.
So here's the takeaway that I want you to get from me documenting my struggle with turning 60 and getting to the place of waking up on my 60th birthday happy and joyful to be this age, and excited about what the future holds for me, and just really looking forward to this next stage and phase of life. And that is that, number one, I was honest. I was honest about my struggles. And when well-meaning people try to encourage me and tell me, but you look so great for your age, instead of allowing me to just be where I was and feel my emotions, I was able to politely say to them, yes, and I am thankful for all of that. However, this is how I feel, and it's okay, because I know how to be honest about my emotions, how to process my thoughts and emotions, and how to work through that process to get to the place of acceptance. And that starts with honesty. So that is the lesson that I want to leave for you today. Your feelings are valid. It's okay to feel how you feel. But it's also important to work through those feelings so that they won't hinder you from enjoying the blessings of your life. Until next time, bye.